Do you know? What separates winners from everyone else? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even hard work alone. It's how they think and how they talk. Look at the most successful people in the world. Entrepreneurs, athletes, leaders, they all have something in common. They train their minds and their words for success. They don't speak in doubt. They don't think about limitations. They don't let fear control their actions. The truth is, your thoughts shape your reality, and your words build the world around you. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, guess what? You won't. But if you choose to think and talk like a winner, you start paving the path to actual success. Today I will teach you how to shift your mindset, how to speak with power, and how to take action like a true winner. Because success isn't just something that happens to lucky people. It's a habit, a mindset, a choice. So if you're ready to level up, to think differently, and to speak success into existence, stay with me for the next few minutes. Let's dive in. Number 1, winners think differently. What separates winners from those who struggle to succeed? It all begins with the way they think. A winner's mindset isn't about hoping for good things to happen. It's about actively shaping reality through thought, belief, and action. Winners don't dwell on problems. They focus on solutions. They don't waste time blaming circumstances or making excuses. Instead, they ask, what can I do right now to change this situation? This simple shift in perspective is what sets them apart from those who remain stuck in a cycle of negativity and self-doubt. Winners understand that every challenge is an opportunity. Where most people see roadblocks, winners see possibilities. It's not that they don't face setbacks, they do. But instead of allowing difficulties to define them, they use adversity as a tool for growth. Resilience is key. The most successful people have failed more times than most people have even tried. But they never allowed failure to become a reason to quit. They know that failure is feedback, not defeat. Every setback provides insight. Every mistake teaches a lesson, and every hardship builds strength. Winners use failure as fuel to drive themselves forward. Another critical trait of a winner's mindset is the ability to think big. Most people limit themselves by setting goals that are safe, easy, and within their comfort zone. Winners, however, stretch their vision beyond what seems possible. They set goals that scare them because they understand that growth happens outside of comfort. They don't settle for mediocrity. They push themselves to be more, do more, and achieve more. This ability to think beyond limitations is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who simply exist. But thinking big isn't enough. You have to back it up with massive action. Winners don't just sit around dreaming about success. They get up and make it happen. They understand that thoughts alone won't bring results. Action is the bridge between ideas and reality. No matter how intelligent or talented you are, if you don't take action, you won't succeed. Winners are relentless in their pursuit of their goals. They wake up each day with a plan and execute it with precision. Another key element of a winner's mindset is self-discipline. Winners don't wait for motivation to strike. They operate with discipline and consistency. They know that success isn't built on one big moment, but rather on small, consistent efforts repeated over time. They train their minds to stay focused even when things get difficult. Winners don't allow distractions, doubts, or external circumstances to dictate their actions. They take control of their mindset, their habits, and their daily routines. Your mindset is like a lens. It filters how you see the world. If you believe that the world is against you, you will see obstacles everywhere. But if you train your mind to think like a winner, you will start seeing opportunities where others see roadblocks. You will begin to trust yourself, take bigger risks, and push beyond your limits. Success starts in the mind first. Before you can win externally, you have to win internally. So how can you start thinking like a winner today? First, become aware of your thoughts. Notice when you slip into negativity or self-doubt. Replace those thoughts with empowering beliefs. Second, stop making excuses. Winners don't waste time on reasons why they can't do something. Instead, they find ways to make it happen. Third, focus on what you can control. Don't waste energy on things beyond your influence. Put your effort into actions that move you forward. Finally, commit to continuous growth. Read, learn, improve, and push yourself daily. Winners never stop growing because they understand that success is a lifelong journey. If you truly want to change your life, start with changing your thoughts. Train yourself to think differently, to see challenges as opportunities, to focus on solutions, and to take bold action. A winning mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And today is the perfect day to start thinking like a winner. Number 2, winners speak with confidence. The way you speak has the power to shape your reality. Winners don't just think differently, they speak differently. They understand that words have energy. And the way you talk to yourself and others can determine your level of success. If you constantly say, "I'm not good enough," "I don't think I can do this," or "I'll probably fail," your subconscious mind starts to believe it, and your actions will follow. But when you speak with confidence, certainty, and conviction, you begin to manifest the success you desire. Winners use words that empower instead of words that limit. They don't say, "I'll try," because that leaves room for failure. Instead, they say, "I will." They don't say, "I'm not sure." They say, "I'll figure it out." Their words reflect their belief in themselves and their ability to overcome obstacles. Confidence in speech is not arrogance. It's the ability to express your ideas, thoughts, and goals in a way that commands respect and attention. When you speak like a winner, people listen. They trust you, believe in you, and are more likely to follow your lead. The difference between winners and those who struggle isn't just in their actions, it's in their language. Winners eliminate negative, weak, and doubtful words from their vocabulary. They don't speak in uncertainties. Instead of saying, "I hope this works," they say, "I will make this work." Instead of saying, "I wish I had more opportunities," they say, "I create my own opportunities." This shift in language is crucial because your brain responds to the words you use. If you constantly speak in doubt, your mind starts believing that doubt is the reality. But when you speak with certainty, your brain aligns your actions with those words, pushing you towards success. Another powerful aspect of speech is self-talk. Winners know that the most important conversations happen inside their own minds. They consciously train themselves to speak positively about their capabilities. They don't allow self-doubt to take over their thoughts. When faced with a challenge, they don't say, "I can't do this." They say, "I can handle this. I've got this." This internal dialogue strengthens their confidence and gives them the mental toughness to push through difficulties. The way you talk to yourself directly impacts your level of success. If you constantly feed yourself negative words, your confidence will shrink. But if you fuel your mind with positive affirmations, your belief in yourself will grow stronger. Speaking like a winner also means communicating with clarity and authority. Winners don't mumble, hesitate, or use filler words like maybe excessively. They speak with purpose. They articulate their thoughts clearly, ensuring that their words have impact. Whether in a business meeting, a conversation with a friend, or a public speech, they make sure their words carry weight. They understand that confidence isn't just about what you say, it's about how you say it. They maintain strong eye contact, speak in a steady tone, and project their voice with conviction. But confidence in speech doesn't mean arrogance. There is a fine line between the two. Winners don't speak to prove their worth. They speak to share their value. Arrogant people try to dominate conversations, talk over others, and make everything about themselves. Confident people, on the other hand, listen as much as they speak. They acknowledge different perspectives and engage in conversations with humility and respect. Their confidence comes from self-assurance, not from the need to impress others. If you want to speak like a winner, start by becoming aware of the words you use. Eliminate phrases that weaken your confidence and replace them with words that empower you. Practice speaking with certainty, clarity, and conviction. Train your inner voice to uplift you rather than bring you down. And most importantly, believe in what you say, because when you speak with confidence, you begin to live with confidence. The way you talk influences how the world sees you. But more importantly, it shapes how you see yourself. Winners speak with power, and you can too. Number 3. Winners set big goals and take big actions. Winners don't think small. They don't settle for average. They don't play it safe. They set big goals and take massive action to achieve them. The difference between winners and everyone else isn't luck or talent. It's their ability to dream bigger than most people dare, and their willingness to back up those dreams with relentless action. While most people limit themselves to what feels comfortable or realistic, winners operate on a different level. They push beyond their comfort zone, set goals that challenge them, and take bold steps toward their vision. Most people set small, easy-to-reach goals because they fear failure. They don't want to risk disappointment, so they keep their ambitions limited to what feels safe. But playing small leads to small results. Winners understand that if their goals don't scare them, they're not thinking big enough. They set goals that force them to grow, that require them to stretch their abilities, and that demand more than what they currently believe they're capable of. The beauty of setting big goals is that even if you fall short, you'll still end up further ahead than if you had aimed for something small. The world's most successful people, entrepreneurs, athletes, visionaries, all have one thing in common. They set ambitious goals that most people wouldn't even attempt. But setting big goals isn't enough. You have to take massive action. This is where most people fail. They spend time planning, thinking, and waiting for the perfect moment, but they never take the necessary steps. Winners don't just dream, they execute. They understand that success doesn't come from having a great idea. It comes from taking consistent, disciplined action. They don't let fear or doubt hold them back. They don't waste time making excuses or waiting for the right time. They start, they push forward, and they adjust along the way. Winners don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. Another key element of winners is that they commit fully to their goals. When they set a goal, they don't treat it as an optional outcome. They treat it as a non-negotiable result. They don't say, I hope I can do this. They say, I will do this, no matter what it takes. This level of commitment separates them from the average person. Most people quit when things get hard. Winners keep going. They find a way. They push through obstacles, setbacks, and failures, knowing that success is not a straight path. It's a journey of persistence and resilience. Taking big action also means developing a relentless work ethic. Winners don't make excuses about not having enough time. They prioritize what matters and eliminate distractions. They wake up early, they stay focused, and they work harder than anyone else. They know that discipline beats motivation every time. While most people procrastinate, winners act now. They don't let fear of failure stop them because they understand that failure is part of success. They see every setback as feedback, every mistake as a lesson, and every obstacle as an opportunity to grow. Another trait of winners is that they break their big goals into smaller, actionable steps. They don't just say, I want to be successful. They define exactly what success looks like and create a clear roadmap to get there. They set deadlines, measure progress, and hold themselves accountable. They understand that massive success is the result of daily, consistent action. It's not about doing one big thing. It's about doing the right things consistently over time. Winners wake up every day with a plan. They don't waste time thinking about what they should do. They execute with purpose. The reality is, most people dream but never take action. They talk about what they want, but never do what it takes to get there. Winners take risks, bet on themselves, and do whatever is necessary to make their vision a reality. They understand that success isn't given, it's earned. And the price of success is relentless effort, discipline, and an unbreakable belief in yourself. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, stop playing small. Set goals that excite you, that scare you, that push you beyond your limits. Stop waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Start now. Take bold, decisive action today. Because at the end of the day, winners don't just dream, they do. And that's what separates them from everyone else. Number 4. Winners talk to themselves differently. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Winners understand that self-talk is one of the most powerful tools in shaping their reality. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes your belief, and your beliefs determine your actions. If your inner voice is constantly filled with doubt, negativity, and fear, you will unconsciously sabotage your own success. But if you train yourself to speak to yourself with confidence, encouragement, and determination, you will unlock a level of power that most people never realize they have. Winners talk to themselves in a way that fuels their success, not their fears. Most people allow their self-talk to be controlled by their emotions. When they feel discouraged, they say things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll probably fail. When they face challenges, they think, this is too hard, or maybe I should just give up. The problem with this kind of thinking is that it programs your mind to expect failure. The more you repeat something, the more your brain starts believing it. Winners, however, train their inner voice to work for them, not against them. They consciously replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I can't do this, they say, I will figure it out. Instead of saying, this is too hard, they say, this is a challenge that will make me stronger. They do this over and over again until positive self-talk becomes their default state. One of the most powerful examples of this is Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time. He constantly told himself, I am the greatest. He said it before he ever won a championship. He said it when no one believed in him. But because he repeated it so often, his mind accepted it as reality, and he lived up to his words. This is the power of self-talk. Your words become your truth. If you tell yourself every day that you are capable, strong, and determined, your brain will start to believe it. And once you believe it, your actions will align with that belief. Another critical aspect of how winners talk to themselves is how they handle failure and setbacks. Average people let failure define them. When they make a mistake, they think, I'm a failure, or I'll never be good enough. Winners, on the other hand, use failure as an opportunity to learn. They tell themselves, this didn't work, but I will find another way. Instead of letting negative experiences create self-doubt, they turn them into lessons that make them stronger. They understand that failure is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. Winners also use self-talk to maintain a high level of focus and discipline. When they don't feel motivated, they don't say, I don't feel like doing this today. Instead, they say, I will do this no matter how I feel. They remind themselves that action leads to motivation, not the other way around. They don't wait for the perfect conditions to start working toward their goals. They talk themselves into taking action every single day. Another key element of winners' self-talk is how they handle challenges and pressure. When most people face obstacles, their first reaction is to panic or doubt themselves. Winners, however, stay calm under pressure. They tell themselves, I can handle this. They use their inner voice to stay focused, confident, and in control. This ability to control their thoughts in difficult situations is what gives them an edge over others. If you want to start thinking and talking like a winner, you need to become aware of the way you talk to yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day. Do you constantly doubt yourself? Do you talk yourself out of taking risks? Do you let negative self-talk control your actions? If so, it's time to reprogram your mind. Start by replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmation. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't, replace it with I can, and I will. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself, I am stronger than this challenge. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You must also speak your success into existence. Say your goals out loud. Speak about your dreams as if they are already happening. Instead of saying, I hope I become successful one day, say I am becoming successful every day. Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. It simply believes whatever you tell it most often. Use that to your advantage. The way you talk to yourself matters more than anything else. It shapes your confidence, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. Winners don't allow negative self-talk to control their lives. They train their minds to speak of success, believe in themselves, and take action no matter what. If you want to change your life, start by changing the way you talk to yourself, because your words become your reality. Number 5. Winners are confident, not arrogant. Winners carry themselves with confidence, not arrogance. Confidence is one of the most powerful traits of successful people. It allows them to take action, make decisions, and inspire others. But true confidence is very different from arrogance. Confidence is rooted in self-belief, while arrogance is rooted in insecurity. A confident person knows their worth and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. An arrogant person, on the other hand, constantly seeks validation and tries to make others feel inferior. This is why winners focus on building real confidence, not just the illusion of it. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that confidence means being the loudest person in the room. But in reality, winners don't need to be loud to be heard. Their presence, their energy, and the way they speak naturally command attention. They don't force their opinions on others, and they don't feel the need to brag about their success. Their confidence comes from their actions, experience, and preparation, not from a desperate need to prove something. Arrogant people, on the other hand, often try to dominate conversations, interrupt others, and make everything about themselves. They believe they are always right and dismiss other people's perspectives. This behavior doesn't come from true confidence. It comes from a deep insecurity and a fear of being seen as weak. Winners don't need to put others down to feel important. Instead, they listen, they learn, and they speak with conviction without belittling anyone. The key difference between confidence and arrogance is humility. Winners understand that no matter how successful they become, there is always more to learn. They are open to feedback, willing to admit mistakes, and eager to grow. Arrogant people, however, refuse to acknowledge their flaws because they see them as weaknesses. They are too concerned with maintaining their image rather than actually improving themselves. Winners don't pretend to know everything. They focus on continuous learning and self-improvement. One of the best ways to build confidence like a winner is through competence and preparation. Confidence isn't something you are born with. It is something you develop by doing the work. Think about any area of life: sports, business, public speaking, leadership. The most confident individuals are the ones who have put in the time, practiced their skills, and earned their expertise. They don't just walk into situations hoping for the best. They prepare, they study, and they train until confidence becomes second nature. For example, imagine two people about to give a speech. The first person hasn't prepared, but they try to act confident by speaking loudly and using big words to impress the audience. The second person, however, has spent hours preparing, practicing, and refining their message. When they step on stage, their confidence isn't fake. It's real, earned, and undeniable. The audience respects them not because they are trying to be impressive, but because they know what they are talking about. This is the difference between forced arrogance and authentic confidence. Another way winners build confidence is by facing their fears instead of avoiding them. Confidence grows when you step outside your comfort zone and prove to yourself that you can handle difficult situations. Winners don't let fear control their decisions. When faced with a challenge, they don't say, "I'm not ready," or "What if I fail?" Instead, they say, "I'll figure it out." They trust themselves to adapt, learn, and improve along the way. Every time they push through fear, their confidence grows stronger. Winners also understand the power of body language. They stand tall, maintain eye contact, and speak clearly. They don't slouch, mumble, or fidget, because they know that how they carry themselves affects not only how others see them, but also how they see themselves. Research shows that confident body language can actually make you feel more confident. That's why winners practice carrying themselves like they belong. Because confidence is often a matter of acting the part until you become it. Another major aspect of confidence is how winners handle criticism. Arrogant people see criticism as an attack and respond with defensiveness. Confident people, on the other hand, see feedback as a chance to grow. They don't take it personally because they understand that learning from mistakes is part of success. Winners welcome constructive criticism and use it to improve. They don't let negative opinions shake their self-belief, but they also don't ignore valuable insights that can help them get better. If you want to develop the confidence of a winner, start by working on your skills, knowledge, and mindset. Stop worrying about what others think and focus on building yourself up from the inside out. Speak with clarity and conviction, but also listen and learn. Walk into every situation prepared, but stay humble enough to keep improving. Real confidence doesn't come from pretending to be great. It comes from putting in the effort to actually be great. At the end of the day, confidence is one of the most valuable tools you can have in life. It affects how you approach opportunities, how you handle setbacks, and how others perceive you. Winners understand this and develop confidence that is genuine, unshakable, and backed by action. They don't seek validation from others because they already know their worth. They don't try to prove themselves because they let their results do the talking. They don't fear challenges because they believe in their ability to overcome them. The choice is yours. Do you want to fake confidence, or do you want to build real, unstoppable self-belief? Winners choose the latter. They commit to growth, preparation, and action. And that's what makes them unstoppable. Number 6. Winners focus on what they can control. Winners understand a fundamental truth about life. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. While most people waste time worrying about circumstances beyond their control, winners channel their energy into the things that matter, the things they can influence. They don't complain about the economy, their past, or what others think of them. Instead, they focus on taking action, making progress, and adapting to challenges. This mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. The reality is, life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, unexpected problems will arise. Some people react by feeling helpless, blaming their failures on external factors. They say things like, I could be successful, but the system is against me. Or I would be in a better place if I had more support. Winners, on the other hand, don't let external events define them. They acknowledge the challenges, but immediately ask themselves, what can I do right now to improve my situation? Instead of focusing on problems, they focus on solutions. One of the greatest lessons winners live by is control the controllables. You cannot change your past. You cannot control the opinions of others. You cannot force the world to be fair, but you can control your actions, your mindset, your discipline, and your response to adversity. This mindset gives winners an incredible sense of power, while those who focus on what they can't control feel stuck, frustrated, and powerless. A perfect example of this is elite athletes. They don't waste time complaining about bad referees, weather conditions, or the crowd's reaction. They focus on training, mental preparation, and giving their best performance. Imagine two athletes. One constantly complains about unfair conditions, while the other focuses on improving their speed, strength, and strategy. Who do you think will succeed? Winners don't make excuses. They adapt, adjust, and keep moving forward. Another crucial element of this mindset is not allowing emotions to dictate decisions. Most people react impulsively to situations beyond their control. If something goes wrong, they get angry, frustrated, or discouraged. Winners, however, train themselves to stay calm under pressure and focus on the next step. They understand that emotions are temporary, but the consequences of poor decisions can last a lifetime. When things go wrong, they ask, what's the next best move, rather than drowning in self-pity. Focusing on what you can control also means prioritizing your time and energy. Most people spend hours worrying about things that don't matter. Social media drama, gossip, or other people's opinions. Winners protect their mental space. They focus on growth, learning, and progress instead of distractions. They don't waste energy on negativity or things that drain their motivation. They are deliberate about where they invest their time. A great strategy winners use is the 3 circles of control method. The first circle includes things you can control: your actions, your mindset, your habits, and your work ethic. The second circle includes things you can influence: your skills, relationships, and strategies. The third circle includes things you cannot control: other people's opinions, external events, and luck. Winners put 100% of their focus on the first circle. They work on what's in their power and let go of the rest. Another important aspect of this mindset is accepting responsibility for your life. Many people blame their failures on circumstances, other people, or bad luck. Winners take full ownership. They don't waste time making excuses. If they fail, they ask, what can I learn from this? They understand that even if something isn't their fault, it's still their responsibility to fix it. This level of accountability separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Winners also know that focusing on what you can control brings peace of mind. When you stop worrying about things beyond your influence, you reduce stress and anxiety. You gain clarity, direction, and confidence. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your own destiny. This is where real power comes from. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, start paying attention to where your focus goes. Are you wasting time on things you can't change? Are you letting distractions pull you away from your goals? Are you blaming others instead of taking responsibility? If so, it's time to shift your mindset. Here's how you can apply this principle, starting today. Identify what's in your control. Make a list of things you can influence and focus only on them. Let go of what you can't control. Stop stressing over things that are out of your hands. Take ownership of your actions. No more excuses. Start working on solutions. Be disciplined with your time and energy. Eliminate distractions and focus on personal growth. Train yourself to stay calm under pressure. Respond with logic and strategy, not emotions. Winners succeed because they own their decisions, control their actions, and refuse to be victims of circumstances. They put their energy into progress, solutions, and action, instead of wasting it on things they cannot change. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, am I focusing on what I can control? If the answer is no, shift your focus, because the moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment you take control of your success. Number 7. Winners surround themselves with winners. Winners understand that the people they surround themselves with shape their mindset, habits, and success. The saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," is not just a motivational quote. It's a reality. The company you keep has a direct impact on how you think, how you speak, and ultimately, how you perform in life. Winners are intentional about their relationships. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, inspire them, and push them toward greatness. They avoid negativity, laziness, and toxic energy, knowing that the wrong circle can sabotage their progress. Most people don't realize how much their environment influences them. If you spend time around people who constantly complain, make excuses, and live without ambition, it's only a matter of time before you start adopting the same mindset. It happens gradually, almost without noticing. One day you're focused on your goals, and the next you're stuck in meaningless conversations, wasting time and losing motivation. Winners refuse to let this happen. They protect their mindset by choosing their circle wisely. The truth is, success is contagious. When you're around people who are driven, disciplined, and constantly striving for growth, their energy rubs off on you. Their work ethic inspires you to push harder. Their mindset helps you think bigger. Their ambition reminds you of your own potential. This is why winners seek out high achievers, mentors, and like-minded individuals who encourage them to reach the next level. They understand that growth happens in the right environment. Winners don't waste time with people who drain their energy. They recognize the difference between supportive friendships and destructive relationships. They don't allow themselves to be surrounded by negative influences, even if it means walking away from certain friendships or distancing themselves from family members who bring them down. This doesn't mean they are arrogant or cold. It means they value their future too much to allow toxic people to hold them back. They know that choosing the right people is not just important, it's necessary for success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is holding on to relationships that no longer serve them. Just because someone has been in your life for years doesn't mean they deserve a place in your future. If someone isn't growing, isn't adding value to your life, or is constantly bringing negativity, they are costing you your success. Winners are willing to make the difficult decision to distance themselves from relationships that no longer align with their vision. At the same time, winners actively seek out people who will challenge them to become better. They don't want to be the smartest person in the room. They want to be in rooms where they can learn, grow, and improve. They look for mentors, successful peers, and even competitors who push them to rise higher. They understand that iron sharpens iron. Being around people who are better, faster, and smarter forces them to level up. A great example of this principle is found in sports. The best athletes train with other elite athletes, not with amateurs. Why? Because surrounding yourself with high performers forces you to improve. If you train with people who are below your level, you won't grow. You'll stay comfortable. But if you train with those who are stronger, faster, and more skilled, you will naturally push yourself harder to keep up. Winners apply the same strategy in every area of life. Another crucial aspect of a winning circle is accountability. Winners don't just surround themselves with successful people, they surround themselves with people who hold them to a higher standard. They welcome constructive criticism, honest feedback, and tough love. They don't want people who simply agree with everything they say. They want people who challenge them, call them out on their excuses, and push them to become the best version of themselves. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, audit your inner circle. Ask yourself, who in my life motivates and inspires me? Who in my life drains my energy or holds me back? Who in my life challenges me to grow and improve? Who in my life complains, makes excuses, and lives without ambition? Once you have the answers, start making changes. Spend more time with people who elevate you and distance yourself from those who bring negativity. It may not be easy, but it's necessary. Winners don't allow loyalty to past relationships to keep them stuck in mediocrity. They prioritize their growth over their comfort. Building the right circle doesn't mean waiting for successful people to find you, it means taking action. Attend events, join mastermind groups, seek out mentors, and network with people who are already where you want to be. Winners position themselves in environments that support their goals. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. At the end of the day, your circle determines your direction. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, you will start thinking small. If you surround yourself with winners, you will become one. The choice is yours. Winners choose wisely, and that's why they succeed. Number 8. Winners use failure as fuel. Winners see failure differently than most people. To the average person, failure is a dead end, a sign that they aren't good enough, and a reason to quit. But winners understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of failures, mistakes, and setbacks. Winners don't fear failure. They embrace it. They use it as fuel to push themselves forward, to learn, and to grow stronger. They know that every failure brings them closer to success, as long as they are willing to learn from it. The biggest difference between winners and losers is how they respond to failure. Losers take failure personally. They see it as a reflection of their worth and ability. When they fail, they say things like, "I'm just not good enough." Or maybe this isn't for me. They allow one setback to define their future, and as a result, they stop trying. But winners have a completely different mindset. When they fail, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of letting failure discourage them, they see it as a necessary step in the process of success. They understand that failure is feedback, not final. History is filled with examples of people who failed their way to greatness. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he successfully created the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he didn't see them as defeats. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." This is the mindset of a winner. Instead of being discouraged by failure, they see it as progress. Every mistake teaches them something new, making them better and smarter for the next attempt. Another great example is Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He openly admitted that he had missed thousands of shots, lost hundreds of games, and failed multiple times. But instead of letting failure define him, he used it as fuel. He said, "I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Winners understand that success is built on persistence. They don't quit when they fail. They push forward with even more determination. Most people fear failure because of how it makes them feel. Embarrassed, discouraged, or rejected. But winners reframe failure. They understand that if they never fail, it means they aren't pushing themselves hard enough. Failure is proof that you are trying, taking risks, and growing. If you are afraid to fail, you will never take the necessary risks that lead to success. Winners don't let fear control them. They take massive action, knowing that failure is simply a step towards success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is avoiding challenges because they don't want to fail. They stay in their comfort zone, play it safe, and never take big risks. But winners understand that the only way to grow is to step outside of their comfort zone. They take risks knowing that failure might happen, but they also know that failure is temporary. The worst thing you can do is let the fear of failure stop you from even trying. Winners know that every failure brings them closer to their goals. Winners also understand the importance of analyzing failure instead of running from it. When they fail, they don't ignore it or pretend it didn't happen. They study their mistakes, learn what went wrong, and adjust their strategy. They treat failure like a teacher, extracting valuable lessons that help them improve. This is what makes them unstoppable. Every failure makes them smarter, stronger, and more prepared for the next challenge. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, you need to change your relationship with failure. Stop seeing it as something to fear. Start seeing it as a stepping stone toward your success. When you fail, don't get discouraged. Get excited. It means you are making progress, learning, and getting closer to your breakthrough. Winners don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves when they fail. They bounce back quickly, adjust their approach, and keep going. Here's how you can apply this mindset today. Reframe failure. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I learned." Take responsibility, own your mistakes, analyze them, and improve. Stay persistent. Keep going. No matter how many times you fall, step out of your comfort zone. Don't fear failure. Fear staying the same. Use failure as motivation. Let every setback make you stronger. At the end of the day, failure is just a test. It's a challenge asking, how bad do you want it? Winners answer that question by refusing to quit. They understand that the road to success is paved with failure, but only those who keep going will ever reach the destination. So the next time you face failure, remember it's not the end, it's just the beginning of your success story. Number 9. Winners take massive action. Winners don't just dream, plan, or hope for success. They take massive action. While most people spend their time thinking about what they want, waiting for the perfect opportunity, or making excuses, winners understand that nothing happens without action. They know that the gap between where they are and where they want to be is filled with effort, discipline, and execution. They don't waste time overanalyzing, second-guessing, or waiting for the right moment, because they know the truth. The right moment is now. The biggest mistake most people make is waiting for motivation before taking action. They believe they need to feel inspired or fully prepared before they start working toward their goals. But winners know that action creates motivation, not the other way around. They don't rely on fleeting emotions to determine their progress. Instead, they move forward, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do, consistently over time. Winners wake up every day and take action. Whether they are tired, unmotivated, or unsure, they have trained themselves to work toward their goals regardless of their mood. Another key difference between winners and everyone else is their speed of implementation. Most people waste time overthinking, analyzing every possible outcome, and waiting for the perfect plan. Winners, however, act fast. They know that overthinking leads to paralysis, and too much planning without execution leads to stagnation. Instead of spending weeks or months waiting for the right strategy, they take the first step immediately and adjust along the way. They trust themselves to figure things out as they go. One of the biggest reasons people don't take action is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of making mistakes. But winners have learned that fear doesn't go away by waiting. It only gets bigger. The only way to overcome fear is through action. Winners don't let fear stop them because they understand that mistakes are part of success. They accept that they will fail, but they don't let failure define them. Instead, they fail fast, learn quickly, and keep moving forward. They understand that perfection is an illusion, and that waiting to be ready is just another form of procrastination. Another reason winners take massive action is because they know that consistency is more important than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a few days, but winners show up every single day. They don't rely on bursts of inspiration. They build habits that ensure long-term success. They know that small daily actions compound into massive results over time. Whether it's in business, fitness, or personal development, winners commit to showing up and putting in the work, even when progress feels slow. Winners also take ownership of their time. They don't waste it on distractions, excuses, or unproductive habits. They understand that time is the most valuable asset they have, and they treat it with respect. They set clear priorities and eliminate activities that don't move them closer to their goals. They don't sit around scrolling on social media, watching endless TV, or engaging in meaningless conversations. Instead, they invest their time in learning, improving, and taking action that leads to real progress. A common habit among winners is that they set deadlines for themselves. Instead of saying, "I'll start next week," they say, "I'm starting now." Instead of saying, "I'll do it when I have more time," they create the time. They treat their goals with urgency, knowing that the longer they wait, the harder it becomes to start. Winners understand that opportunities don't wait. They must be taken. A powerful example of massive action is seen in successful entrepreneurs. The world's greatest business leaders didn't wait until they had the perfect idea or full funding. They started with what they had. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage. Elon Musk started Tesla with huge risks and no guarantees. These individuals didn't wait for certainty. They took action despite uncertainty. They understood that action breeds results, and results create momentum. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, stop waiting and start doing. Stop talking about what you're going to do, and start taking the steps to make it happen. Winners don't just think big, they take actions that match their ambitions. They don't sit around hoping for success. They create it through relentless execution. Here's how you can start applying this principle today. Take action before you feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Just start. Stop overthinking. Make a decision and move forward. Adjust as you go. Be consistent. Work toward your goals every day. No matter how small the steps, eliminate distractions. Protect your time and focus on what truly matters. Treat your goals with urgency. If it's important to you, act like it. At the end of the day, success isn't about luck, talent, or even intelligence. It's about action. The people who succeed aren't the smartest or the most gifted. They are the ones who take action when others hesitate. Winners don't wait for the right conditions, the right mindset, or the right moment. They take action now. The question is, are you going to wait, or are you going to take action like a winner? The choice is yours. Number 10. Winners choose their mindset every day. Winners understand that success is not just a one-time decision, it's a daily commitment. They know that every day presents new challenges, new opportunities, and new choices. and how they respond to those choices determines their future. While most people let their circumstances dictate their mindset, winners take full control. They don't wake up hoping for a good day. They wake up and create a good day. They set the tone for their success from the moment they open their eyes because they understand that mindset is everything. Most people allow their emotions to decide how they approach the day. If they feel tired, they are unmotivated. If they face a problem, they let it ruin their mood. If they fail at something, they assume they aren't capable. But winners don't operate this way. They train themselves to think differently. They don't wait to feel motivated. They create motivation through action. They don't let small setbacks throw them off course because they have already decided that no matter what happens, they will keep moving forward. They choose a winning mindset every single day, regardless of the circumstances. One of the most powerful habits of winners is that they start their day with intention. They don't wake up and let life happen to them. They set the tone for their day. Whether it's through affirmations, exercise, meditation, or planning their goals, they make sure that their first thoughts and actions put them in the right mindset. They program their brain for success before the day even begins. Most people start their day by checking their phones, scrolling through social media, or reading the news, which often fills their mind with negativity and distraction. Winners, on the other hand, protect their mental space. They take time to focus on what matters, reminding themselves of their goals and reinforcing positive beliefs before stepping into the world. Winners also understand that mindset is a choice in every situation. They don't just decide in the morning to have a strong mindset and then let it fade as the day goes on. They continuously choose to stay positive, focused, and disciplined throughout the day. When something goes wrong, they don't dwell on it. They immediately shift their focus to finding solutions. When they feel tired or unmotivated, they remind themselves why they started. When they encounter negativity from others, they refuse to let it affect their energy. They stay in control of their thoughts because they know that mindset dictates results. Another key trait of winners is that they practice mental toughness. They know that challenges, failures, and obstacles are inevitable, so they prepare for them in advance. Instead of letting struggles break them down, they use those moments to build resilience. They remind themselves that setbacks are temporary and that every difficulty is an opportunity to grow stronger. They don't allow a bad moment to turn into a bad day. They don't let small failures shake their self-belief. They have already committed to success, and no obstacle is strong enough to change that decision. Winners also guard their thoughts carefully. They don't allow negativity to take root in their mind. They don't entertain limiting beliefs, self-doubt, or fear. Instead, they replace those thoughts with empowering ones. When their mind tells them, "This is too hard," they respond with, "I am strong enough to handle this." When fear creeps in and says, "What if I fail?" they answer, "Failure is just part of the process." They actively shape their mindset because they know that your mind can either be your greatest asset or your biggest enemy. Another important part of choosing a winning mindset is practicing gratitude. Winners don't focus on what they lack. They focus on what they have. They appreciate their progress, their opportunities, and even their struggles, because they know that every experience is shaping them into the person they need to become. Gratitude keeps them motivated, positive, and focused on abundance instead of scarcity. It reminds them that no matter what happens, there is always something to be thankful for. And when you focus on gratitude, success follows. If you want to start thinking and acting like a winner, you need to take control of your mindset. You need to wake up every day with a decision to win, to push forward, and to stay focused. You need to stop letting circumstances control you and start taking responsibility for how you think and respond to life. Here's how you can start applying this principle today. Begin your day with intention. Before checking your phone, spend time setting goals and reinforcing positive beliefs. Take control of your emotions. Don't let external events determine how you feel. Choose your reaction. Reframe negative thoughts. Whenever self-doubt or fear appears, replace it with an empowering belief. Build mental toughness. Expect challenges. Embrace setbacks. And remind yourself that you are stronger than any obstacle. Practice gratitude. Focus on what you have, what you've learned, and how far you've come. At the end of the day, success starts in the mind. Winners don't wait for life to make them feel good. They choose to think like winners, act like winners, and speak like winners every single day. And that is why they succeed. The question is, are you making that choice today? Success isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about thinking, speaking, and acting like a winner every single day. Winners aren't born. They are made through the choices they make, the mindset they develop, and the actions they take consistently over time. If you want to achieve greatness in any area of your life, it all starts in your mind. You now know the 10 powerful principles that separate winners from everyone else. Winners think differently. They focus on solutions, not problems. They speak with confidence, eliminating weak language and replacing it with powerful, intentional words. They set big goals and refuse to settle for mediocrity. They master their inner voice, knowing that self-talk shapes their reality. They carry themselves with true confidence, not arrogance. They focus only on what they can control, letting go of everything else that drains their energy. They surround themselves with winners, knowing that environment is everything. They use failure as fuel, treating setbacks as stepping stones to greatness. They take massive action, knowing that execution beats intention every time. And most importantly, they choose their mindset every single day, refusing to be a victim of circumstances. But here's the truth. Knowing these principles isn't enough. You must apply them. The real difference between winners and everyone else isn't just in their knowledge, it's in their execution. They take action when others hesitate. They push forward when others quit. They take control of their future while others make excuses. Winners don't just talk about success. They create it through their thoughts, their words, and their relentless action. So now the choice is yours. Will you think and talk like a winner, or will you stay where you are? Will you take control of your mindset, eliminate self-doubt, and take the bold steps necessary to transform your life? Or will you keep waiting for the perfect time that never comes? Here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, commit to thinking, speaking, and acting like a winner. Wake up every morning and set the tone for success. Choose powerful words. Take massive action. Surround yourself with the right people. And most importantly, refuse to let failure, fear, or doubt stop you. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your mindset and your willingness to act. The winners of this world aren't waiting. They are moving. They are executing. They are winning. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to step up and think, speak, and act like a winner? The answer is in your hands. Decide now, because your future begins with the choices you make today. And today you choose to win.